Greetings guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Cara. Today I'm going to go through some wrestling news, the main headlines, things like that. So starting from the top, we have Kurt Angle was backstage at SmackDown Live. As many of you may have heard this week, we had We Want Angle chants going throughout the American Alpha and the Usos match. Now, these weren't just random chants, they weren't just built up from rumours, they were actually based in kind of fact. Angle had been spotted outside, so fans had taken photos of him and posted them on social media. We also had a picture that had been released of Angle meeting with Vince McMahon for the first time in 11 years, so it was their reunion. But he wasn't there to be on the show, unfortunately. Angle was there for a WWE Network special, which is going to be aired with him obviously being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's kind of for him, so it's understandable. But he is still scheduled and heavily rumoured to be on the Raw after WrestleMania, to be replacing Mick Foley in the GM role. So it's very likely that we'll see him at least very soon in the near future. Another thing that happened on SmackDown Live was that AJ Styles was fired by Daniel Bryan. You know, good luck in his future endeavours and all that. But obviously, we know this is kayfabe, this is storyline, he's obviously not going to get fired. Why would Shane confirm a match at the end of the show with somebody who was fired? There's obviously going to be a rehiring sort of angle happening. But a nice little touch that was done on the WWE website, or has been done on the WWE website, is that AJ Styles has been moved to the alumni right next to AJ Lee. It's quite cool. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. So there's been a couple of new shows happening, or at least one been announced, one that started. Some of you may remember Zack Ryder did a show called the Z Long Island Story. That's coming back soon. We also had the beginning of Southpaw Regional Wrestling. This is brilliant. Gonna go through the cast list with you. So it features Carl Anderson as Chad Too Bad. We have Rusev as Big Bart, John Cena as the commentator Lance Catamaran, McElroy played by Tyler Breeze, Hawkins as Chet Chetterfield. Kurt Hawkins and Cena are really good together. They have they have a really funny chemistry. Ric Flair does a little advertising segment as a Ric Flair impersonator for a KFC advert during it. You've got Jericho as Clint Bob's backstage interviewer. You've got Luke Gallows as Tex Ferguson. Heath Slater as Pelvis Wesley. TJ Perkins as John Johnson. Lana as Christian Joy. It's so good. It's really funny. Definitely worth the watch. Oh, but yeah, Matt Hardy has tweeted, carrying on this whole, is he going to WWE? Is he not? So he tweeted John Cena when he was advertising it, saying, "Is there tag team gold for House Hardy to procure at Southpaw Regional Wrestling?" You never know. Broken Hardy in Southpaw would be quite interesting, considering the boys are from Carolina as well. Be quite funny. Also, Cena's put up about that the creator of SRW is at Pel1105, and if you want more to tweet him, definitely worth going for. So get your tweets into him, yeah. Is a parody of the old school 80s promotion, so you've got some real big characters, but it's definitely worth the watch. It's very funny. There are also rumblings about Nakamura going to the main roster very, very soon. As we all know, especially the British fans, that NXT tends to go to have a live spot at Download. It was there last year. As we know, there was a quite cool segment where that was where we got Bobby Roode's debut. The year before that, we had Corey Taylor having a little segment with Baron Corbin when he was still on the NXT roster, where he punched Baron Corbin, which was pretty cool. Because Corey Taylor's a badass, we all know it. Shinsuke is not on the poster for NXT Live at Download, which obviously being one of their main guys is one of their biggest draws. He's also lost the title recently, so it would make it's looking like he might be headed to the roster soon. Now, this has been kind of confirmed. But Vince wants Nakamura on Raw as it's the main flagship show, but Triple H wants him on SmackDown. As we found out recently, Triple H has more control over SmackDown. So Triple H obviously has control of NXT, and NXT is very, very good. SmackDown is as good as it is. Says that Triple H is starting to work his way more and more into the company. As we know, there's a bit of a battle between Shane and Triple H for control. It's quite interesting how Shane is running SmackDown, if that's the case. Considering they're supposed to be at loggerheads, and you've got Shane's guys, Vince's guys, like Kevin Dunn, and then you've got Triple H's guys. So for those to kind of be coinciding, it's making for a much better product. So maybe they need to do more of that with Raw. But going back to him lobbying for Shinsuke to go to SmackDown, he's lobbying even harder for this because Samoa Joe went to Raw. Even though Triple H wanted him to go to SmackDown initially. They're trying hard to get Shinsuke on SmackDown. Fingers crossed he does. So there's another leak happened. WrestleMania 34 plans have been leaked. The main event: Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns rematch for the Universal title. I say rematch. I know it was a WWE title. I know, but the Universal title is basically the WWE title, but it's on Raw instead of SmackDown. Or it has obviously a different name. So yeah, the build for the title is going to happen for over the year. We're kind of hoping that in the meantime, there is talk of him potentially being traded over to SmackDown Live to at least kind of create a bit of separation between Reigns and Lesnar. Reigns will be going to potentially turn heel. We don't know if this is the case with the whole Undertaker thing. We're hoping that it happens, but it's not guaranteed. Because, you know, the way Vince feels about Reigns, we know this for definite now, because he wants him to be the top babyface to replace Cena, especially with Cena now going off after WrestleMania to do multiple film roles and basically going into a Rock sort of role, where he's more Hollywood-based than he is WWE-based. Talks of other wrestlers, though, also being traded. One is AJ Styles maybe being traded to Raw. New Day maybe going to SmackDown Live. Apparently New Day was talked about going to SmackDown Live some time ago, but obviously that didn't go through. They've not had much to do lately, and apparently Vince does regret taking the titles off them before Mania, as they haven't really got anything to do with them, which is why they've ended up being the hosts for WrestleMania to at least keep them in the spotlight. It is now heavily rumoured that Vince has decided that Enzo and Cass will win the titles at WrestleMania, which is great. For them to have that kind of pop at WrestleMania will really do wonders for them. They need something on them to keep them relevant. As awesome as they are on the mic and as good as they are in ring, they're slowly starting to lose that momentum that they had at the beginning. So it looks like Vince is going to put the titles on them, but he doesn't want them to face the New Day because popularity and things like that. So that's why they've kind of been stuck on the back burner as the hosts, and Vince isn't too happy about that. One other thing for WrestleMania 33 is that Big Show vs. Shaq has been officially cancelled. we finally found out why negotiations fell through. It was said that Shaq was out of shape, that Big Show wasn't happy about this because what he was doing, it was seeing him getting the best shape of his life. But Shaq has been, and also mentioned that he was talking to WWE, but the negotiations have fallen through financially. But this will be Big Show's last WrestleMania. It's a shame that he won't get a big match, whether it's a gimmick match, whether it's a title match, whether... I mean, he is in the Battle Royale, so they might let him win it this year with it being his final one, or he might try and put somebody else over. It's going to be interesting to see how they play that out. But yeah, so after next February, his contract ends, and he doesn't plan to carry on wrestling. He will move into an ambassador role backstage. More WrestleMania 33 news is that there is talk of... They don't really know what they're doing with the women's match. There is talk of Dana Brooke and Nia Jax being added to the match. With both of them, whether they're just going to do one, because there was talk some time ago about it being a fatal four-way with Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and Bayley. It's unlikely that it's going to get taken off Bayley. I don't think Charlotte's going to get a streak back because, the streaks basically ended at Fastlane of all things. Sorry, WWE Fastlane. But it could end up being a 5-way, it could end up being a 6-way, it could end up being a bit of a battle royale. You never know, they may decide to include Emma in this. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with it anyway. But that was the reason why Dana Brooke had the face turn on Raw, so that she could be potentially included in the match, and the reason why Nia Jax was made to look strong again against Bayley, even though it does make Bayley look somewhat weak as a champion. There will be no Rusev at WrestleMania 33. A lot of the news is kind of revolved around WrestleMania. A lot of it obviously is a couple of weeks until it, so it's all kind of getting put in place, and plans are somewhat being finalised as much as they can for a WWE show. You know what Vince is like for last minute changes. Rusev will be missing WrestleMania 33. He's had shoulder surgery on the 9th of March. He's back in 2 months. Hopefully when he comes back, after the fact they kind of had to write him off and get rid of him in a way by doing the whole Big Show kind of destroying him, tearing apart the Jinder Mahal and Rusev thing, which, let's face it, is no bad thing. It wasn't exactly the greatest match ever, the greatest tag team ever. It was slightly racist, but, if you're foreign, you're evil. It seems to be the way. Oh, a little bit of TNA news. Alberto El Patron has relinquished the title, but it has been put straight back on Bobby Lashley, which is odd. But I suppose it's a little bit like what happened with Alexa, the title being dropped by Naomi, and then Alexa pretty much automatically getting it back. Seems to be, because it was a disputed finish to the Del Rio and stop calling Del Rio, to the El Patron and Bobby Lashley match. So it kind of makes sense. It's odd. At the end, LAX returned, which is nice. We haven't seen them for some time. They built up their tag team division again, which, let's face it, with the loss of the Hardys is a big fall for them. So we've got Homicide and Hernandez, who got 2 other wrestlers joining them to make it a bit more of a stable rather than just a tag team. But to have Homicide and Hernandez back is really, really cool. They were a fantastic tag team. Hernandez did have a pretty funky little tag team with Chavo Guerrero, which made for some really great matches and some really great viewing. The speed and strength mix was really good. But Homicide and Hernandez are just a powerhouse, and it's really good to see those 2 back together. So the big news of the week, especially is the leaked sex tape. Well, there's more than just the sex tape. Paige had some rather personal stuff leaked. Not too proud to say that yes, I have seen it. No comments about it, just sheer facts. The pictures that were leaked were basically nude pics, mostly nude pics. You can tell that these were personal ones. A lot of the videos as well, they were videos of her with the guy who appears to be her ex-boyfriend, the guy from the band. There's a few pictures of her with him on her. This is all part of this, the Fappening 2.0. Unfortunate name, but hey ho. So she's one of the string of people who've been attacked recently. It kind of started, or hacked, should I say. It started with Emma Watson. She had some nudes leaked. Then more recently, we've had two of the actresses from Arrow with. So yeah, Emily Rickards and Katie Cassidy have both had. Katie Cassidy's had a sex tape leaked, and Emily Rickards had nude pictures, and Katie Cassidy also had nude pictures leaked as well. So this has become a bit of a pandemic. Tweeted in response to it, so as her brothers, mother, and a couple of the wrestlers, so Biggie and Summer Rae. But obviously the big controversial one is the sex tape of. It's a very odd video. Paige, who appears to be Xavier Woods, with Brad Maddox filming or taking photos, or it's very. It's kind of like, when you have, it's just weird. But yeah, and this is obviously blown up the internet. People are going crazy about this. But Biggie and Summer Rae are basically defending it. They're saying that it might be faked, but it's not. You get a really clear shot of it being Brad. Whether it's Xavier, you can't really tell all that well, but it's highly possible. I'm guessing so, considering Paige has basically confirmed that these pictures were leaked or stolen from her personal account or computer was hacked. There's something trending at the moment called #StandByPage. I get it, because there have been instances kind of like this in the past. We had the leaked pictures of Rollins, where Rollins was engaged at the time, and he was sexting another wrestler, Zahara Schreiber, and he accidentally posted a picture of her naked, and then obviously the fiance saw it, not too happy, and started posting pictures of him. And also started putting up on Facebook things that he'd apparently said to her in messages, and this all went out during an episode of Monday Night Raw. It was pretty bad, somewhat controversial. You can see now at the time, Triple H said that this was an unfortunate personal incident, and that's all it is. Yes, that's very true. Because he never got reprimanded for it, but you could argue it wasn't him that leaked these images. It wasn't Paige that leaked these either. So it's not fair for her to get reprimanded, or Xavier Woods or Rollins, because you could argue that this just being leaked in the first place, if you want to say that, you could argue that what Rollins did was wrong, so because of that, he's paid his dues. His relationship ended. His relationship with the lass who became his girlfriend, Zahara, that ended as well, and he got named and shamed. So it's not something to really keep having a dig at, and it's not really something for him to be worth being suspended for. Xavier Woods, he's kind of more guilty by association rather than anything else. And then you have Brad Maddox, who's not even with the company anymore, so you can't exactly do anything to him. And it's not fair to do anything to Xavier Woods. There have been plenty of jokes about it, there's already been plenty of rumours about it, there's already been plenty of stuff about it, so let it go. It is what it is. There was also the Hulk Hogan sex tape incident. Now, yes, okay, that blew up, but the reason why that one in particular blew up was because of the fact that he uses racist comments in it. So that was what really ticked them off about that. So that is something that you can kind of understand why they kind of had a bit of backlash at him over that. But you could also argue that Hogan's from a different era, but that's kind of an excuse. So for him to get somewhat, not necessarily reprimanded, but the cold shoulder, you can kind of see. But again, surely they've all served their penance for it. So it's time for us to just let that go. The selfie culture has really exposed the dark side in us, and it's not just about vanity, but we film everything, we record everything, not much is personal anymore, and for certain things, when they get leaked, then that causes embarrassment, and the embarrassment, that's the naming, the shaming, all that kind of lot. That's the repercussions for it. You don't really need to fire them for it. You don't really need to give them anything for it. They're not trying to represent the WWE brand in that. So just give them a break and let's get hashtag #StandByPaige trending. And yeah, so that's it for this week. Till next time, I will like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you down the road.